Hello, little enzymes. Welcome back to Dacia's Digest. Today's story theme is Leave That Man. You'll see what I mean when we get into these stories. All of the stories that we have today are actually from our very own subreddit. So thank you to everyone who posted these stories there for me to read. The only one that isn't is going to be the palette cleanser at the end. Also, special shout out to Queen Utopia and Likely Fairy for my super thanks. Thank you guys so much. Woo! I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get into the video. First story is, am I the a-hole for snapping at my husband for repeatedly bringing up breast surgery? I'm gonna say chest. For some reason, saying breast over and over again just like makes me uncomfortable. So I'm just gonna say chest. Or I'll say melon. I, 27 female, have been married to my husband, 34 male, for over a year. We've been together for 6 years. He's a gym freak, which I don't have a problem with, except for when he sometimes tries to impose his routine on me. For example, pressuring me into adopting his dietary habits. That's a red flag. Anytime someone tries to impose any of their own personal beliefs onto you, whatever it is, I feel like that's always a red flag. She says, I exercise too. I'm 5'6", 130 pounds, but I enjoy my food and nothing will change that. That's not what I'm posting about though. Lately, I can't wear a dress without him telling me I look good, but that I would have looked better if I had that melon augmentation surgery. He never complained about my melons for 6 years until the past 4 to 5 months. I've told him before that I'm not against it, but not planning to get one. It took me years to regain my confidence because my mother used to make hurtful remarks about my chest like it was something I didn't achieve. A few days ago, we were being intimate and he didn't hesitate to remind me again that I would look 10 times better with the implants, which turned me off instantly. Who does that? Who does that? I don't know, sis. I would be highly annoyed with this man. The way that he continues to bring this topic up, and I'm sure you probably have explained how uncomfortable it makes you feel. And even if you haven't explained that, like, what husband in their right mind constantly tells his wife that she would look better with a surgical enhancement? I don't remember what I exactly said, but I said something along the lines of, I know how it feels. You're not the perfect size. The big ones hurt anyway. He got mad and called me immature and all. Mind you, he's been pressuring me to have the surgery for 4 months now, and I've never snapped at him. Edit, I'm an A cup. 4 months is a long time to be harping on this issue. It's just so rude, so inconsiderate, so disgusting. Like, you've been with her for 6 years, you never had an issue with it, and all of a sudden, like, you're telling her. I would have the major ick. I don't think I could do it. The first time he said it, I think that might be it. Yesterday, we were getting ready to go to his friend's wedding, but I ended up staying home. He brought up the surgery again, and I snapped at him. I reminded him that we dated for 5 years before we got married. He had plenty of time to realize I'm not good enough for him and break up with me to find a woman who has what he's looking for. I do have eyes. He's right, I'm flat-chested, but I have a nice body overall. He said he loves me and wants to be with me, but feels he could be more attracted to me with bigger melons. I ended up telling him to go alone. I can't shake off the feeling that our recent arguments are taking us down a toxic path. It's not the kind of relationship I want for us. Is this worth considering divorce over? Other than this, we do get along very well, but I feel like he's taken me back to the days when I would stand in front of the mirror for minutes thinking I would never find a man who would like me if I myself don't like what I'm seeing. This is crazy. This is crazy to me, honestly. For me, I see it as an indication of a larger problem as well, because right now it's the melons. But as you grow and age, a lot of things are going to change. The melons not going to look like they look now in 20, 30 years. Your skin is not going to be the same. Hair is not going to be the same. Like, you might, there's so many changes that people go through within relationships, one of them being physically. Is he gonna stick around? That would be my concern. Like, if you're harping on this one issue for 4 months and you just will not let it go, what happens in the future when I don't look like you think I should look? I would really be reconsidering this union. Sunny SJ says, he tells you quite regularly that he finds you lacking. He even goes as far as to bring this up during intimacy. This is not the actions of a respectful, loving spouse. You are well within your rights to make a mean comment to him. Funny how people who regularly dish out cruelty are the ones least able to take it. If you agree to the breast augmentation, I would willingly bet a large sum of money there will be something else that he will want you to fix. You having bigger melons won't fix whatever his issue is. Exactly. Skatulikai says, it's disgusting because he's laying it out that he only sees her as an intimate toy or eye candy. Her health, mental, emotional, and physical, should be more important to him than this ridiculous BS request. She said she doesn't want to, and it should have ended there. It sure as heck shouldn't have been brought out while they were being intimate. Talk about taking away the trust and safety of intimacy that is necessary in any intimate partnership. Calic Mac says, your husband shouldn't be nagging you to undergo an elective surgery for only his benefit. He's being immensely disrespectful, which is too nice of a description. But anyway, be proud of your body. Don't allow his behavior to affect your self-esteem. Does he know you might consider divorce over this issue? Tell him and base your decision upon his reaction, not the a-hole. And OP says, no, he doesn't know yet. I'm planning to sit him down tomorrow and talk about it. Whenever I try to talk about it, he tries to change the subject. Ugh, like, what's wrong with this man? He already has other things that are red flags, like him trying to put her on his workout routine thing that he does, and it's not giving husband material. Dongle Maestro says, 6 years and he only now says it. I hate to be that guy dropping assumptions on Reddit, but I suspect he's looking at someone else's and wants you to look like her. It's not that he didn't like you before, it's that he likes someone else now. While augmentation can vary in how it's done or looks, I'm betting he has a very specific look in his head, and even if you got it, I doubt it would match what's in his pea brain. Altruistic Text says, this is my first thought. Someone else has the melons he desires. I hate to write that sentence, but I think his sudden obsession with OP's melon size suggests this possibility. That sounds very much plausible because the sudden switch up is just odd. Let me go to her update. Update, am I the a-hole for snapping at my husband for repeatedly bringing up breast surgery? I had no intention of mentioning divorce, not until I get some answers that could help with my decision. I was hoping we would end up agreeing on counseling or something. I just wanted an honest conversation to know if there was a way to fill that void for him without ever getting the surgery. To fill that void for him? Like, why do I have to fill that void why do I have to fill a void for someone? They should be whole and, I don't know, I don't like this. I sat him down last night and just like usual, he tried to change the subject. I made it clear to him that it's either we talk about it now or he never ever brings breast surgery up again. Well, that did it for him. I asked him why he suddenly, after 6 years together, wants me to get one. He wouldn't give me a straight answer. I told him if I'm to consider having one, he needs to be honest with me about what changed in the past few months. He grabbed his phone and showed me some women's pictures on his phone. And let me tell you, they weren't Instagram models. They were 100% fans-only models. He showed me more than 5 pictures with no shame or the slightest consideration of my feelings. With each pic, he said things like, "See, you would look 10 times hotter. She's not even as gorgeous as you." I asked him if I decide to never get the surgery, would he drop the idea? Like, can we move past it? He said it's something he can't stop thinking about because he really feels like he would be more attracted to me and that I myself would feel more confident with the melon job. I do have eyes, and just like I know how small my chest is, I know that I have a nice body figure. People compliment me all the time, so they can't all be liars. I asked what he ever liked about me in general, because from the pictures he showed me, I didn't see any woman that resembled me even a bit. He said that I'm gorgeous and have a killer smile, and he likes my curvy hips. I asked if there's anything else he likes about me in general. I was hoping he would mention something other than my body or anything, and all he said was, "Your lips." This dude sounds like a douche. I told him since I'm considering melon augmentation surgery, is there anything else he thinks I could fix so he can feel more attracted to me while we're at it? I hoped that he would at least say, other than my boobs, he loves everything about me. He said, "You're good." The way I would be packing my bags to go that instant. Honestly, even before this conversation, I would have been ready. I would have been done. From the grammatical errors, you could tell I'm not a native English speaker. I'm Brazilian. I told him I will think about it and said good night because I didn't want to give him the satisfaction of seeing my tears. That's terrible. I don't know if I'm just naturally stupid and never paid attention to the red flags, or he just decided to show me his true colors now that we're married. By the way, since some asked, yes, he does know about my history with my mother. Every woman in my family is a C cup and up, including my younger sister. I'm the only one with an A cup. He initiated intimacy later, and I told him there's a lot on my mind right now. He didn't even argue, and after like 5 minutes said, "I'll pay for it, don't worry about that." He's at every instance, he's doubling down like over and over and over again. This dude is an asshole. Like truly. When we met, he was around 230 pounds. He's 5'8" and never went to the gym before. He's 190 pounds now. I'm mentioning this because some said I hooked up with him for his looks and physique. Physique wasn't on the table back then, but it never would matter to me as long as the person in front of me cares about me for who I am. 5'8"? He the same height as me. I'm 5'8". Okay, shorty, what you got to say about the melons? Why don't you go ahead and get that knee surgery? Since you got so much to say about the melons. No shade to any short people out there. To him specifically, I'm trying to hurt his feelings. I myself am not perfect. Anyway, he was so insecure about his looks, and I never ever said a thing about it. I used to, and still, voice how I love this. I boosted his ego just for him to decide that he would be more attracted to me if I get a melon job after 6 years together. And for those saying I'm lazy for not going to the gym with him and that he wants what's best for me, I said I do exercise. Yes, I'm an A cup, and I know it's not for everyone, and I respect that, but I'm freaking gorgeous. Okay, talk your talk, OP. My mother and him or anyone else won't change that. I'm a babe. Deal with it. Period. He himself used to mention how I get looks all the time when we're out. I felt hurt and cried because it hurts to not feel desired by the person you love the most and want to be desired by. Other than that, I'm perfectly happy with my body. And if I ever decide to get a melon job, I will get it for me, not for someone who finishes in 2 minutes. Yo. I'm crying. Not for someone How can I make this PG? Okay, not for someone who runs out of gas after 2 minutes and can't park the car in the right spot. I need time to make a plan before I start the process. When everything is ready and I have a place lined up, I will serve him the papers. By the way, I will initiate intimacy tonight and every night until the day I serve him. Edit, I get it now, it's a bad idea, but I will go with it for tonight at least. I bought an adult toy today. Okay, let me PG that. I bought an adult toy today, 3 times the size, and am using it right after he runs out of gas. If he goes low, I'm going lower until I have an exit plan ready. I mean, that's the level of pettiness I'm on. If you, you think I need a melon job? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you think you were perfect? Okay. Thank you to each and everyone who took the time to read my post and share their support and advice. Your words have really made a difference for me. Thanks to the men who offered their perspectives and advice. Your honesty has been eye-opening. All right, just a couple comments before her last update. Mad Hatter says, I read your original post with my girlfriend, and we were curious to read an update. I'm sorry to see that your talk didn't have better results, but at least you know where you stand now. We were both amazed at the shallowness and casual hurtfulness of your husband's disparaging comments, especially in the middle of intimacy. It's difficult to understand how someone could say something so damaging to a loved one's self-esteem and in doing so sabotage the health of their own marriage. All that just so he could have a bigger set of melons to play with? Frankly, your husband sounds like an idiot. I'm happy to hear that you're not letting it drag you down and that you recognize your own hotness. That self-confidence is really your most attractive feature. Don't lose it, but do lose the dead weight that is your husband. Good luck. I agree. Even still, I'm happy that she has that self-confidence. She knows she's a bad bee. She knows she's not ugly. She's comfortable with what she has. And so these comments that her husband is making aren't bothering her because she's very secure in who she is. It could be quite different if she was someone with low self-esteem. This could really crush, her self-image, but luckily she's still okay. Let me go to the last update. Final update. Am I the a-hole for snapping at my husband for repeatedly bringing up breast surgery? Hi, first of all, for those who have been asking for an update and were excited to know how the toy plan went, I know this is disappointing, but I couldn't go through with it. I couldn't let him touch me after everything he said, and using it in front of him also would have been a treat for him. I was just mad. Besides, I didn't want to risk getting pregnant because I know my luck. Who would want to go through morning sickness and labor for 2 minutes? Anyway, I left the toy on my nightstand and he saw it the next morning and asked me about it. I told him that since we decided to be open about our intimate needs and he advised me not to take them personally, I thought he wouldn't mind me trying to get the job done after all these years. He said that was immature of me and that I was just trying to hurt his feelings. I told him that's exactly what he did and left for work because why bother now? Now for the update. I started the process of divorce a few days after the last update. He will be served in a week or 2. I left him 3 days ago and took my belongings while he was at work and called to let him know. He's been calling and texting nonstop since. His younger sister called the same day. His older brother called twice last night and texted me asking what happened, saying that my ex-husband is going crazy, trying to reach me, and that I should at least answer his calls and communicate like adults. I called my ex-husband to let him know that if he sends me another member of his family to try and get me to talk to him, I will just send them a pic of my chest alongside a pic of one of those fans-only models he showed me, and let them know that I can't talk to him until I go from this to this. Until then, I don't want to hear from or about him, and that until then will probably take forever. He got the message and apologized. He said he will give me some time to cool down. That's all. I found myself a really nice place to stay temporarily until the divorce is finalized. I know I seem like I'm not taking this seriously, but it's the only way for me to not break down. I do feel sad. Not sad that I'm getting divorced, but sad that I'm losing someone I thought would never make me go through something like this and leave me no choice but to leave him. I'm still in love with the man I met 6 years ago, not this man he turned into. But, not gonna lie, I love myself more now. I have to choose myself and take care of me no matter what people around me think. My sisters know that I'm getting divorced. My mother will probably know through them. Thank you to everyone who commented on my previous posts. Your support and advice have meant a lot to me. For those who see themselves in my ex and believe that he could treat me like that and I should just stay with him for the sake of saving my marriage, please spare your time and see a therapist instead. Edit, some of you told me to go through his phone and laptop to see if he's cheating. I couldn't. Not knowing the answer to something that will probably mess up my self-esteem is better. I just want to get out of this with as little damage to my mental health as possible. Plus, I want to mention again that I'm not a native English speaker, so please don't mind the grammatical errors. I'm glad that she's divorcing him. Honestly, that's the only way. I'm also thinking, like, in the future, if they ever planned on having children, a lot of changes go on with your body after you have children. There can be some sagging and dragging, stretching. After you have a kid, things could be all out of place. Like, there's so many things, so many physical changes. So you need somebody that's gonna love you through the changes. You already trying to have me get surgery on my perfectly healthy, perfectly fine body. What's gonna happen when down the road there are actually some different changes? Are you gonna leave me? You gonna make me feel bad about myself? Talk about me? That's not, I would not be in a relationship with someone like that at all. So congrats, OP. Someone said, thank you for choosing you. And I think that sums it up nicely. All right, next story. I found out my boyfriend of 6 years was cheating for 3 of them. Ooh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Is this a Dacia's Digest exclusive? Let me see if they posted this on any other. The other one was a cross post, so it had already been posted on another one. I don't know, there's a lot of similar titles, but I feel like this is a exclusive, so let's see. Hi all, apologies for the long post. The situation is, as the title suggests, I found out that my boyfriend of 6 years has been cheating for 3 of them, and I just need a place to vent. Ooh, child. 50% of the relationship? You said my boyfriend, so that means he's not an ex. This is a throwaway account for obvious reasons, and I have changed a few details, but the majority of it stays the same. My boyfriend and I are in our 20s and have been living with each other the whole time we have been together. We love each other very much and would spend a lot of time together. Around last year, both my boyfriend and I went away separately to work events for a week. I started noticing he was being less responsive to my messages, but assumed it was because he was extremely busy with work. When I came back from my work trip, he was still being quiet and distant, but I thought it was due to him being hungover. After dinner, he let me tell him about how my time away was before he essentially told me that his work trip was less work and more partying. Only the male colleagues and the male boss all were on this work trip, and essentially they spent the day drinking, skiing, and partying. They maybe got 5 hours of sleep each day. Dang. He then looked at me with the guiltiest look I have ever seen and explained that on the first night, his group of colleagues called over a female group and they started partying together. He then ended up kissing one of the girls. I was, of course, extremely upset and left our apartment to go for a walk while I tried to cool down. I went back and we had a very long discussion about our relationship and how we wanted it to progress. He was extremely apologetic, said he did not sleep with the girl and they only drunkenly made out and that I am the love of his life, etc. So I forgave him and we moved on. We adopted a dog, moved to a new city, and started new careers in this time. So that was how long ago? Oh, last year. Okay. So that was 5 years into the relationship? All right, I mean, listen. For one, I think he's trickle-truthing because that's what people do when they cheat. He's telling you just enough so that you know he did something, but he's not telling you the full extent of what he actually did. But hey, you chose to forgive him. Y'all chose to look past it and move on. Now let's see what happened. Well, one weekend, 1 to 2 months ago, he was away at his friend's place and left his wallet at home. Out of curiosity and a gut feeling, I looked through the wallet and found a condom. My boyfriend and I do not use condoms. To make sure he didn't give me an excuse of, they were handing them out for free at an event or something, I started searching through our place. I found a pack of condoms hidden away. It's very difficult for me to hide my emotions when it comes to him. He can easily pick up when something is bothering me, and so when he arrived home, he noticed something was wrong and I spoke to him about the condoms. His explanation was that before we moved here, he was in a very difficult place mentally, and to summarize, he bought the pack of condoms and would bring one with him when he would go out in case he would end up sleeping with someone, but would always feel extremely guilty for what he was doing and would throw them away. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. In this economy, he's throwing away perfectly good condoms. I'm not buying it. And the fact that he premeditated potentially cheating, probably did cheat, but premeditated that. The first story a year ago, it was just, we got drunk and it kind of, happened, whatever. This time around, he's actively taking steps. He picture it like this. He got into it. He had the thought, you know what? Just in case I want to cheat when I go out, I think I might need to buy me some condoms. Yeah. Checked his bank account. Okay, I have enough money. Got into the car, turned the ignition, maybe put in the GPS for the local grocery store. Drove to the store, got out the car, went down the aisles, took his pick of whatever he thought was best, took it off the shelf. Do you see where I'm going with this? There were so many times in the timeline of event where he could have stopped. But for him to say, when I went out, I just got so guilty. I just felt so guilty I couldn't do it. So I threw them away. So you mean to tell me you took the initiative to go out and buy this, but once it came time for you to actually use them, you just felt so guilty that you just threw it away? Why didn't you come home and put it back in the box? Why didn't you throw the whole box away? It's not adding up, sir. Yeah, he threw away the wrapper probably after he used what was inside. He felt guilty after he did what he had to do, probably. Unfortunately, again, we had a heart-to-heart conversation where I asked him if he ever cheated on me, slept with someone, kissed, etc., and he said no, that he was in a difficult mentality, etc. Again, I forgave him and we got through it. That's strike two, sis. That's strike two. We have been extremely happy since we have moved, and I understood his issues he was facing previously. I decided, even though he did not deserve my forgiveness, I wanted to keep trying as we had an amazing relationship and I wanted to fix it. I'm sorry, sis. Why are you allowing yourself to be treated in this way? It's not worth it. Let me continue and see what happens. Goodness. Now comes to the title part. I was on his laptop and randomly decided to see if he had any pictures of me saved. Turns out he does, and in fact has a ton of screenshots of clothing challenged, fans only type of girls, Tinder profiles, of another girl who I thought was a friend in a bikini and screenshots of his pictures, which I had taken, by the way, so that he could use it for a dating profile. I am heartbroken. I knew he went out and I thought it was maybe harmless flirting, but to know that he was actually making a Tinder profile to actively seek out women hurt a lot. I had an anxiety attack and ended up being sick the whole weekend. I couldn't stop crying, throwing up, having migraines. I have never felt so hurt and that my whole relationship felt like a lie. I thought about just packing my bags and leaving without an explanation. However, I needed to know why he would do this to me. I just wish we would let closure go. There's no such thing as closure. And I know a lot of times we want to know, like, dang, why did he do that? It's in him. It is who he is. I watched this therapist on a Dave Ramsey spinoff channel. His name is Dr. John Deloney, and he always says, behavior is a language. He can tell you out of his mouth anything he wants, but the behavior is what really speaks. The behavior is the truth. And so if he has a full resume, a track record of doing this, there's no why would he do this to me? That is who he is. Why wouldn't he do it? That's literally who he is. He came home from being away to me telling him that I found everything. This is what the situation was. There was one time when we were 22 when he went on holiday with his female friend. I had always told him I was insecure about him just going on a holiday with her and wasn't comfortable. I'm sorry. You have to stand up. This is the fourth red flag that you have mentioned in this story, and you just continue to stay. Why? You're asking, why would he do this to me? I'm asking, why would you do this to yourself? You let him go on a vacation with another bitch, and you accepted that? You stayed after that? She said, turns out it wasn't the friend I had to worry about. He basically did everything with a random girl there on a night out when he was drunk, but because he was so drunk, he couldn't physically go through with things. If he wasn't so drunk, he would have. He apparently never met up with any of the women he screenshotted on Tinder and would just flirt with them, and once they showed interest, he would leave the chat. He would go out to festivals with his friends and flirt with other women and make out, essentially until the woman would show interest in him, and then he would leave it. He told me the reason he would do all these things was because he lost his hair. He had to shave his head due to baldness and felt extremely insecure. He wanted to feel attractive again and that he was still attractive to other women. I'm rolling my eyes so hard at this man. I kept questioning him on why he would do this to me, and he explained that since we have moved to our new city and have our new life, he has been extremely happy with our relationship and life. He regrets everything he did, and that was why he never told me and tried to delete the evidence because it was behind him and he is disgusted with himself. He finally broke down and confessed that he has been battling with corn addiction and that he hasn't been able to speak to anyone about it because he is so embarrassed. He at one point just wanted female validation, but he only viewed them as intimacy objects. It has affected his libido and intimate desires negatively, and that is why we have not been intimate in a while. He is planning to go to therapy. We can't do it right now as it's very expensive where we live for this, as he does not know why he self-sabotaged before, and he is so deeply in love with me. He is so incredibly happy with our relationship and that he sees a future for us, and I am his person. I accepted his apology, but I have not forgiven him because obviously a lot has been done to me. Currently, we have been fine so far, and it felt like everything kinda went back to normal, but I can't stop thinking about it. Mentally, I have given him a few months to show a change, to see if he actually goes to therapy and works on himself, or if he tries to continue as it was before. A family member of mine cheated on his wife, and he explained to me what men are thinking and why some do what they do. He essentially said it all made sense what my boyfriend did once I revealed his corn addiction, and that this is something that men struggle with but aren't able to voice. I am not able to move out right now due to personal reasons I cannot share, but really would appreciate some advice on how we can move forward. Oh my goodness. This is not a viable situation for you. There is so much more to life, so much more happiness, so much more joy, the feeling of being carefree, the feeling of being able to have 100% trust in your partner that you are missing out on because you with this man. This is not it. I'm sure there are other instances that you have not mentioned here that are additional red flags, but this relationship is done. Everything that you laid out here, this is unforgivable. And if he is going to go to therapy, I think that's great. I think that's great. I think that's a good option for him, but he needs to do that for himself internally. He doesn't need to do that to prove something to you, to show you that he's really working or trying, and to try to convince you to get back in his good graces, because I promise you, this will be a cycle that repeats itself over and over and over again if you decide to stay with him for the rest of your life. And at the end of the day, you're gonna make your decision. But I think that you should also get therapy for you, because something within you is causing you to stay and accept this type of treatment from another person. This is not okay. This is not a good situation. If I had a child, a daughter, a friend, a sibling who was in this type of situation, no, I would be telling them to get out. Leave that man. This is not it, though. This is not it. And the fact, it's great that he's able to, in some moments of truth, admit things to you and come clean or whatever. But I personally would never be in a relationship with anyone who has any type of addiction, because that's a whole nother ball game. All people who have any type of addictions deal with lying, scheming, hiding the truth, being sneaky. That's just the nature of what addiction is. And you don't have to deal with that. He can deal with that on his own, separately from you. I know I usually don't try to go so long on the commentary, but since this is seemingly only posted to our subreddit and there's only one comment, I would say, because you're asking for some advice and how you can move forward, I would start to decenter him from your life and recenter yourself. I think you need to get back into who OP is. Whatever your name is, insert your name here. What do you like to do? How do you feel about yourself? What are your past traumas and things that you need to work through and get over? How can you build your self-esteem? Spending time with yourself, going out with your friends, just really building up that self-confidence. Because from what I'm reading here, it's not there. And for some reason, you just are staying with this person who's terrible. Terrible. And I don't want to harp too much on him, but this ain't it, sis. Maybe, I don't know what the financial situation stuff is, but I would just be silently planning my exit, maybe putting some money away on the side. You said you can't move out right now, but there's no other options at all. That's really tough. But I would definitely be planning an exit, maybe even taking up a part-time job if you can. I don't know, you said personal, I'm not sure what the details are, but if you can, maybe trying to take up a part-time job, stacking up some extra cash, not spending as much on shopping or eating out or whatever. I don't know the details, but definitely planning the exit. And you say advice on how we can move forward. This is advice on how you can move forward by yourself, because you need to drop that. And also, that one family member of yours don't listen to him. That's not true. He's basically giving an excuse. You can't get advice from a cheater. He's basically giving an excuse for why your boyfriend has done everything that he's done, and there's no excuse. So the one comment that we have on here, Strange Loop says, "This sucks OP, but what sucks the most is how you find every excuse in the book for him and accept the ones he throws at you. It made me sad when you found his Tinder profile and thought it might be harmless flirting. He's lying to you. This is deeper than you know. He's been lying the entire time." There is this well-known psychologist named Esther Perel, I think. She has a podcast. She says cheating is a secret. I also want to touch base on how men think comment. I am a man and I think it's utter bull crap. Exactly. Not all men cheat. I am in a long-term relationship and would never cheat on my girlfriend. First, because I love her and I don't want to be with anyone else. But also, it's about honor, respect, self-control, and strength. We are all capable of acting in such a way, but it's something you work towards as you grow up. I hope you ditch this relationship. I hope you and your boyfriend grow and find relationships that serve you both better. Perhaps he needs something ethically non-monogamous. By staying with you and treating you in this way, he is damaging you and your psyche. Please have boundaries and don't let this person hurt you any longer. No, not all men are trash. Find a better one later. I completely agree with this comment. As I said, this is on the Dacious Digest subreddit. Doesn't have a lot of comments, so if anyone else has any advice, any love and support that we can throw to OP, either in the comment section on this video or in the post on Reddit, please add your comments. I feel like she needs a lot of support right now. But yeah, this is not it, sis. Let me go on and go to the next story. Again, this is also posted in our subreddit. Should I leave my controlling household even though they have depended on me for years and don't know how to do things for themselves? This might be long, so bear with me. I, 23 female, am a first-generation African. My mom and I came to the US in 2012. Ever since, I have been the helper. I've been up early to go to appointments. I've been woken up out my sleep to translate. I've been called countless times to speak for, translate, or explain. I've been handed letters to read and explain. I've been writing checks for bills. I've been doing any and everything for my mom and still do. When we first came, my mom and I had a very rocky relationship. We still do, but it's different. I went through a period of acting up, and I vividly remember being whooped multiple times until I became obedient, quiet, a people pleaser, and a rule follower. Ooh, that sounds like ABUSE. My cousin and aunt came in 2015. They raised us as siblings, and I see my aunt as a second mother. When my cousin came, now 21 female, I helped with things for them too. As she learned English, it turned into both of us helping. We even helped moms buy this home. Imagine having gone through the process of buying a home at 18 years old. Some incidents that have contributed to my cycle of depression while living with my mom and aunt. 1, in high school, mom made me quit the dance and track team because she thought it was making me too skinny and didn't want me out of the house after school. What? She banned me from going to sleepovers. She had once said she wished she had brought somebody else to the US because I wasn't able to understand a government document, which led to me running away, but brought back by the police that same night. I was 14. This is terrible, OP. This is terrible. This is not the way parents should be treating their children. She's treating you like a commodity, a personal assistant, just like something that's there to help her when she's the one that brought you into the world. She's supposed to be helping you, but you're acting like more of the parent than she is. I had an anxiety attack due to her finding my anxiety pills and yelling at me, and proceeded to tell me to get over myself and that Africans don't experience mental illness. That's terrible. The African American community also believes something similar, like it's getting better, but a lot of Black people are like mental illness is like it just doesn't exist. 5, for the last 2 years of high school, there was a period of months where they would yell at me and my cousin at 5 a.m. in the morning for random things. During those months, I remember they would yell because they expected us to clean the house in the morning before we left for school, but we wouldn't have time. 7, they expected us to help all of our siblings that came here too, no matter what. 8, moms hate learning to do things by themselves. They will call us at work to order DoorDash at their job, and when we tell them they have to learn, they respond by saying they're too old to learn. What? So weaponized incompetence. 9, they refuse to learn how to use the sprinkler system, which is very simple. All you do is press a button to change the areas of the yard. 10, there isn't a day that goes by where we aren't reading something, buying something on the phone, making a phone call, going somewhere to translate, or being yelled at and criticized. And don't even get me started on the body shaming. This is a nightmare. This is terrible. This is no way to raise a child at all. It is not your responsibility to, like, again, she brought you into the world. It should be the opposite. And then using the excuse, oh, I'm too old to learn, or I'm too young to teach then. And the thing that I have learned about people is once you say no, they figure it out. So it sounds like you might have to start setting and enforcing some boundaries. And honestly, it sounds like you need to go no contact. But let me finish reading. 11, my cousin had once dyed her hair a brownish tone and they were livid. Told her to take it off immediately. My mom struck her and they yelled, saying she needs permission. They would wake her up out of her sleep repeatedly and tell her to take off the color up until she did. That sounds like narcissistic harm. There are so many more and worse things, but I have a horrible memory. Situations with my siblings that also contribute to my poor mental health, my brother and sister. 1, my brother once told me the only reason he calls me is when he needs my help. 2, they both didn't wish me a happy birthday and didn't get me anything. 3, my sister pops up at the house anytime she pleases and often has documents for me or my cousin to fill out or expects us to make calls. So they're learning from the moms, basically. 4, recently my brother called and told me that he expects me and cousin to always be available to help them because we are the only ones who can help all of them. That is not true. They are choosing not to help themselves and relying on you. The same way that you figured it out and you learned, they can figure it out and they can learn. That's an excuse. 5, my sister often lies to moms when me or cousin are busy and can't help. We then receive angry calls from moms asking why we don't care about sister and her problems. They sound like narcissists for real. 6, sister recently pulled up and had cousin step out the house to pay a simple bill on her phone. This is exhausting. I would have been blocked these people. I would have been blocked them, not told them my new address, no contact, barely any posts on social media. Like, no. Overall, I have a very hard time standing up for myself, and I don't like dealing with conflict, but I know it's unavoidable. They have molded me into this person that does whatever they want, even when I'm depressed or don't feel like it. I don't like saying no because they yell and guilt trip me. I don't want to ghost them because I care. Hold on. I heard a quote. You say you don't like saying no because they yell and guilt trip you. I heard a quote today. I think it was also from Dr. John Deloney. Well, it was from that show. It was from one of their sister shows, but it was choose guilt over resentment every time. Like I said, people will figure it out. But if you acquiesce to what they want you to do, you will have resentment for the rest of your life. They are ruining your life. This is not the quality of life you deserve. Then you said you don't want to ghost them because you care. The real way to show that you care is giving them the opportunity to do things for themselves. but babying them and having them rely on you, that's not it. I know anybody would have already cut them off, but I can't bring myself to. I am figuring out my schedule with work so I can work more to be able to afford living by myself with the help of my boyfriend. They have always told us that school was number one, but when my cousin had told them a couple months ago that she wanted to move out for school, they yelled, almost hit, and told her she wasn't allowed to go and needed to ask for permission. Now I know for sure there isn't a reason out there that's good enough for them to let me leave. I know it will be hell when I do. There will be lots of yelling, refusal, and they will guilt trip me for sure. How do I go about telling them I'm leaving anyway? What's your advice? Don't go about telling them anything. This is a scary situation. I'm not gonna lie. This is like the things that you've detailed here. This sounds very terrifying. I would not tell these people anything. You need to quietly plan your exit. As you said, you're trying to do your schedule at work to try to get more hours to be able to afford living by yourself. You said with the help of your boyfriend, but I wouldn't count on that. You need to live by yourself solely. You need to have a situation where you're able to take agency over your own life by yourself. Do not drag your boyfriend along with it, because you're just going to go from being dependent on one situation to being dependent on another situation. That's not what I want to see for you. Is it possible that you and the cousin can move out together? I see that situation working out better if you feel like you can trust the cousin not to give up any information. But whatever you do not say anything. I honestly I'm scared for you in this situation. I honestly feel like it will be very dangerous for you to say anything about leaving. This is so concerning. One thing, I understand that you feel like they need you, and if you leave, they're not gonna have anybody to help, etc. You're gonna feel guilty, but I promise you, when you take away the option, people figure it out. Just like you had to figure it out, they will figure it out. I used to be really bad at this. I used to give away money to relatives when they ask, because I felt bad. And then I felt, well, I'm the only one that can do it. Until $100 here, $200 there, racked up to thousands of dollars, literally thousands of dollars, that is still not paid it back to this day. And so finally, I was like, all that money, I could have used it, or could be using it for other things. I could be sitting in my savings collecting interest. I could have used it toward a down payment on a house or something. But no, I decided to disadvantage myself for the benefit of another person. And you should never, ever, ever do that. And once I started saying no, guess what? They stopped asking, because guess what? They figured it out. They got new sources of income or a new job or something to help them. It sucked. It sucks saying no and having to see people struggle and knowing that, you could probably make it work to try and help them out, but that is not your responsibility. You have to stop. And you saying, oh, well, I'm having a hard time standing up for myself. I see that you've posted this in a lot of different subreddits, and I don't know how much people can tell you for you to get it. But I'm sure everyone is telling you the same thing. There's not much we can say until it just clicks. Let me read some of so she posted this same post in the Too Hot Takes subreddit and also in the Am I Wrong subreddit. So I'll read some comments from there because our little baby subreddit does not have comments yet. Unseen Unbiased says, when family won't give you your adulthood, you have to take it forcefully. Other than guilt, what control do they have over you? They need you more than you need them, so you have to leverage to set the boundaries in the relationships. Be prepared when you tell them. Do not give in to guilt. Reset their expectations for how much of your time and effort and money you will give them, and then stick to it until they accept the new reality. Do not give in to guilt. Free yourself from their control and take control of how you respond to them instead. My fair ladies said, do not tell them you are leaving. You need to get to a safe place before you have the talk mentioned above. And Flo Baby said her and the cousin should get a place together. Literally my same exact thoughts. Don't tell them, and maybe you and the cousin can get as long as you and the cousin are on the same page, because I would hate for y'all to get a place together and then her go and like have contact with the family or even you and jeopardize like y'all's situation. So as long as y'all are on the same page, y'all can get out of that situation and y'all have each other to lean on. Gamer Granny says, I don't know about your culture, so I don't know whether to be concerned for your physical health. I can tell that your emotional health is at risk. Please separate yourself. Don't give your location and use an alternate phone number. Don't give up on them, your moms. Your siblings have been here long enough to do for themselves. Wean your moms. They are quite capable, but be willing to help 1 to 2 times a month. Nothing is so impossible. It can't wait 2 weeks. Explain your reasons and hang up. Don't allow them to berate you. If they start, walk away. I don't even agree with that. I think you just need to go no or low contact. Stop. Go cold turkey on helping them with things. These are grown people, adults that are asking you for things. I would completely stop helping them. And if anything, you can go low contact if you wanted to, but even that. Someone said, yes, leave, don't walk, run. Run like the women who escaped from polygamy and the Latter-day Saints Church did when they realized they didn't want to be in it anymore. Take your cousin, pack up your stuff, and leave in the middle of the night, or maybe during the day, or whenever the house is empty and you two are the only ones home, if that ever happens. Ask your boyfriend if he'll house your cousin and you until you two can get on your feet and get more stability with schooling, jobs, and your own apartments, or whatever your goals are. This is what I would do. Your family is refusing to assimilate while maintaining Africa's traditions, and that isn't good because that isn't showing how things are done here in America. Good luck sending positive vibes and hugs. Now that last part, I don't know. I can't really, I have African friends. I know that a lot of times they may rely on the kids to do things and may be kind of strict, but this situation doesn't sound like African traditions. I could be wrong, but it sounds like an extreme version of that. Like the harm, the name call, no. And I don't like this isn't how things are done here in America. I don't like that, because there's America is a melting pot. There's so many different cultures and things here. At the end of the day, nobody should be getting harmed and mistreated. That's the main point, I think. Fun Yellow says, OP, get a new job so they don't know where you're working, find a new place to live, rent a bedroom somewhere, gather all your official paperwork, get a new phone number, and don't give it to anyone. Not even the cousin, as someone will get it from her, and leave. Go no contact with your family. This will be hard for you at first, but you need to do it for your own life. I feel like I've said pretty much everything that I'm gonna say on this topic, but everybody is giving great advice. You've posted this on several subreddits, so it seems to me like maybe you are conflicted on, people, this was 2 weeks ago. You have 30 comments of people giving solid advice. I would basically take a summation of everything people have said there and do it. Don't tell them where you're going. Figure out an exit plan. If you do need to lean on your boyfriend for like a little while you kind of get on your feet, yeah, but I wouldn't like totally plan on having him be the fallback guy forever. But I wish you the best. At the end of the day, nothing is going to change until you decide to make it change. So it's really all up to you. Your entire life is up to you. Everything that happens to you is up to you from this point on. I wish you the best, sis. I would have been gone, honestly. That was our main read for today's video. And then we have our palate cleanser. Lord, we need it today. Those last 2 stories were a little tough. So someone posted this, I can't remember which subreddit, but it was a link to a news story where a Metro Transit driver gives passengers the shoes off her feet. And there's a little video accompanied with it.
Metro Transit bus driver going viral for literally giving away the shoes off her feet.
A passenger with a unique perspective shared her appreciation online, and it exploded from there. Our Corin Hoggart caught up with the driver, who's developing a special reputation for her acts of kindness.
To her frequent passengers, Jane Arendt Verhelst is known as the happy driver.
I got a couple of characters on there that I say hi to every day.
The 57-year-old bus driver gives a lot of them nicknames. On the 54 route, the woman who doesn't like tornadoes is Oklahoma. And the guy who looks like a member of Motley Crue is Nikki Sixx. She's adding a new one this week.
The narc, the one who got me in trouble.
Sarah Selden was near the back of the bus when it made an unexpected stop on West 7th in St. Paul. Jane had opened the door for an unhoused woman who had stepped into the streets and held up her arm.
She actually looked like she walked off a disaster movie.
Selden noticed the woman didn't have any shoes and heard the driver talking to her about it. She thought maybe the woman was about to get kicked off the bus, but Jane had a surprise for her.
She's like, wait, hold on. And she just like swings and I just like see like these shoes coming off.
The woman walked off the bus a few stops later with Jane's size 10 Skechers on her size 7 feet.
You didn't just like make my day and everyone's day on the bus.
Sarah's only a couple.
That is just like the fact that she didn't even have like a second thought. It was almost like an immediate reaction, like, oh, this woman doesn't have any shoes. Duh, like, let me give her mine.
Months off the streets herself, so she understands the dignity a pair of shoes can deliver and the hope those shoes might represent.
I hope that like just her being seen in that moment eased a little bit of suffering and gave her a little bit of hope, because that kind of receiving kindness and hope can actually be a thing that propels you towards choosing to get help.
So before the bus pulled away, she hopped on Reddit and reported what she saw. A cascade of compliments followed for all bus drivers, but especially for Jane.
I was just like, oh boy, I'm going to be in so much trouble.
Jane drove the rest of her route in her socks. She recently stopped the bus to tend to a dying dog, and Friday wasn't the first time she let a passenger board when they shouldn't. So she's earning a reputation for bending the rules for all the right reasons.
Everybody asks me every day I get off work, you got your shoes on? You got your shoes on? Did you give your shoes away? I'm going to stop it, stop it, stop it.
Corin Hoggart, Fox 9.
That's so cute. Shout out to Jane, man. I think we should all be like Jane, especially given the stories that we hear on this channel every day, the heartbreaking stories. It would just be great if we could combat all of this negativity with positivity. If there's a need that you can immediately fulfill in someone else's life, I think it would be nice to do it. So I think that's a great way to end the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.